In Ethnicity Without Groups, Brubaker speaks to an unconventional perspective of ethnicity as a point of groupness rather than groupism. While a popular conception can view ethnicity as something static, Brubaker's frame of reference is effective in providing a more nuanced, flexible view. Here, I want to hone in on his facet of groupness as an event. In this way, ethnicity is fluid and can wax and wane. At points it can be highly salient, while during others, it is not. Here are some things to consider. In his 2010 book, Disintegration, Eugene Robinson speaks to a reality that Black America is not a homogeneous monolith. The transformation of the Black demographic since the Civil Rights era has led to fractionalized mosaics of African Americans, all signs indicative of waning from a sense of solidarity in the past. Let's take a look at Brubaker's considerations with respect to Black America, particularly on the point of the first election of President Obama. Is being African American a singular experience? Has Blackness waxed and waned over time? What impact did 2008 have on Black America?
Life. The legacy of the civil rights movement, the sense of solidarity and the sense of unity and the sense of there being strength in numbers and strength in finding common cause among us and among ourselves, and that ethic, I think, is is still strong, even if it's in conflict with actual circumstance.
Is there a conflict? Father Ray Kemp, a D.C. native, reflects on the U Street riots in 1968 following the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King.
The predecessor to CVS was the People's Drugstore. So there was a lot of animus around, and the tinderbox was there anyway. And I think goodly numbers of radical types exploited the situation and made it work. I mean, most people don't torch their own neighborhoods.
Has there been a heightened sense of Blackness since? Georgetown students offer their opinions.
I think for the first time in American history, or modern American history, I'll say, African Americans and minorities in general, had somebody they could rally around for that 40 odd years or so. There wasn't really one polarizing figure that people just rally themselves around in regards to the struggles.
And you're like, oh, such and such is running, like, okay. But this time it was like, guys, we need to actually vote because this is the opportunity of a lifetime.
But I think that race was a really significant factor in the voter turnout for African Americans.
Hold on a second.
It does have to do with pride. I think when you see yourself represented in different aspects of your life, you can see yourself in those positions. Like, I have no aspiration to ever be president, but I think it just shows you that the limits of Blackness are not really existent.
I don't know. I'm glad that there was an African American president, and I'm glad that Hillary is running, because you really don't understand the social impact that these little things may have on a community.
I heard a speech recently from the president of Howard University, actually, at a conference that I went to over Easter break, and his kids were born after 2008, and they've only ever known a Black president. And so, what do you do in the next election when the next president is not going to be a Black male? It could be a woman, which is significant too. But if it goes back to the same historical trend of just white older males being president, I think that his kids will find that to be odd.
You have privileged Blacks, and then you have the middle class Blacks, and then you have the poor Blacks, and even then you have the welfare Blacks. Everybody's experiencing things differently. I think a lot of times, media and literature and stuff try to, categorize the entire Black experience as one. And even when you hear debates and stuff, there's typically this idea that, every Black person is experiencing the same thing. And it's easy to say when you're all living in one close-knit environment, but coming, I'll say, to Georgetown, I was really able to see that, my Black experience is very different from someone, let's say, from Milwaukee.
The election of Barack Obama had an indelible social and personal effect for African Americans. Where do we go from here? The reality holds that Black America is not just African American. It's Caribbean, biracial, immigrants from Africa, and so much more. As Brubaker would argue, civil rights in 2008 were points where groupness was salient. The negative points where groupness did not happen in Black America could go hand in hand in what Robinson would say was the disintegration of the demographic. While Barack Obama is a cultural entrepreneur, 2015 faces a new challenge. In events such as Ferguson and Staten Island, what does Black America do in this day and age? Does it come together as an event, or will it dissipate and wane? While blackness is no single thing, it still carries a particular potency for the future.